switch. We said that the port setting for a switch so the port setting for the switch, any of the switches, that could be by default set to auto, and auto means that will auto negotiate. Duplex. Okay, it will auto negotiate the duplex mode, and it's either auto. The other option is full, so this is manually done, or half. Okay, so either auto, full, or half. And there's different times where, you know, when you're connecting between two switches, old switch, new switch, very old, you know, like 1900 switches. Sometimes we connect them to 2900s. You have to make sure that if the auto negotiate doesn't work, if the ports keep going up and down, sometimes what we do is we remove the auto and we force it either to full or half. Okay. Auto, the duplex mode, full duplex means when you connect two switches together like this, when you set up a trunk, or you connect a switch to a PC, then if your network card supports full duplex and auto negotiation, then means that you're going to have transmitting and receiving TX and RX all at the same time without any collision. That's what full duplex. If you set it to half duplex, you can only transmit or receive. So you cannot transmit or receive at the same time. The NIC card cannot do that. We talked about auto and DIX for the auto crossover and straight through for the switch. MAC address table, we talked about that. Bandwidth and throughput. So we talked about latency. Now, we talked a little bit about the on a switch. We said the switch, if you have, let's say, two switches connected to each other like this, then we can say that this whole entire thing is what? A broadcast domain. So the entire thing is one broadcast domain. And the reason I say this, because like multiple choice question, Ccna will come up and says that, you know, like which circle the broadcast domain, or which one is broadcast, which one is collision domain, and all that. So in a switch, all the switches represent a broadcast domain, which means that if a broadcast sent here, it's going to propagate through the switch, through the trunk, to the other switch, to all the other ports on the trunk, except the port where it came from. So that's always the case. Now, when it comes to collision domain, now every port has its own collision domain, okay? And the reason for that is because you can connect a hub to a port, and then if you connect more than one PC to that port, then this is considered as what? A collision domain. Okay? But the switch has no collision domain. Means there is no collisions on the switch itself. Between the ports, there is no collisions because there are full duplex between the ports. But if you connect a hub to a port in a switch, that hub is going to cause a collision. So every port has its own collision domain. Just remember that. Each one of these ports has its own collision domain. But the switch eliminates any collisions in traffic between the ports because it's all done in full duplex. Remember that. Okay, guys? So that's one thing. Another thing is, because we didn't talk about VLANs yet, but if you have a VLAN, then every port on a switch that belongs to that VLAN, so if this is VLAN 10, and this is VLAN 99, then this is, instead of having one big collision domain like that, instead of one big broadcast domain like that, now we split to two broadcasts. This is a broadcast domain, and this is here another a broadcast domain. So broadcast domain here, broadcast domain here. So we split. So once we start working with VLANs, VLANs is going to split traffic like a router. Okay, a router is the only one that can. The other example is if I have a collision broadcast here and a broadcast here. So the router will separate two broadcast domains from each other so that they don't what? They don't they don't go through. So the same thing with the VLANs. VLANs, exactly like a router, it will split the traffic and confine it to that segment of the network. So if you have VLANs, then you have broadcast domains. Latency, of course, latency is very important, especially when you're talking about VoIP. We said what? For VoIP is minimum 150, maximum 150 milliseconds. Otherwise, your phone call is going to be full of echoes and ringing because of jitters and delays.